Let's call this meeting to order. Today is July 17th. It's Wednesday. It's 5:30 p.m. We are at the 2nd Street Community Center. Welcome to the Parks, Recreation, Forestry Committee meeting. We are going to go right into item 2, which is approval of minutes for June 12th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Randy, second by Brett. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Anybody here from the public that's not on the agenda would like to speak? We're good. We're moving on. Right on to item 5. This is the skate park.
3.
Pardon me?
We skipped 3.
I'm sorry, missed it. Oh, conflicts of interest. Do we have anybody that needs to report a conflict of interest? Oh, thanks. Thank you, though. Okay, now we're on to item 5, skate park mural wall. This is presented by Alderperson Mike O'Reilly and Mr. Kirschbaum, guests today. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, I'm kind of sitting back and watching. We've been discussing what's going to happen on that wall and how the art will be applied. Not an artist in this mind, so I've kind of been dealing with him and trying to figure out what his vision is. And I don't know if you want to maybe share with him what your thoughts are.
Well, so this is my current issue. Like, I'm an artist, but I'm not a mural artist. I don't spray paint. I don't do any of the concrete prep leading up to it. And I don't perform art at that scale. So it's extremely challenging for me to construct something when I'm unfamiliar with the medium and what my capabilities are in that medium. And so what I'm asking is if I'm able to practice, because there's no other way I can do it without doing it illegally anywhere else, is to practice on the wall by possibly doing Marshfield Skate Park on the wall, just as a practice to feel the medium, to see what my capabilities are. And is any questions? Like, I don't really have much outside of that because I'm kind of stuck, because I don't want to lose the opportunity to have something for my son, which anybody who's lost a loved one can understand that. And so it puts me in a hard position to perform the art, create the art, and then learn a new medium all at the same time. And so I just am looking for some grace to have a little practice on it, because I have no other means to do it.
Do we have any questions, discussion on this?
When there is graffiti, like, how intensive is it to remove? Like, say he has a job that he's not happy with and we would like to remove it. Is it terribly difficult to remove something like that?
Well, your question is a little difficult to answer. Graffiti on concrete will just be painted over. Graffiti on other areas, like plastic or walls that are not supposed to be painted over, is much more difficult to remove. We may end up having to remove it. We had graffiti last year that was just sprayed on siding. Once again, the siding wasn't painted, so to deal with it, we had to wash it off. We wouldn't wash this stuff off, we would just paint over it with a piece of paint, you know, whether it's black or white or gray or whatever color would have been painted. I would assume that's how we would get rid of it. Does that make sense?
Yep. So it's you don't put a base down. You spray right onto the.
I would assume you put some sort of primer or sealant down before you do that, and would have a base color of some nature underneath.
Okay. Do you have any like conceptual ideas at all of what it would be?
I have some ideas in my mind which lean more towards the pop art style, like Andy Warhol type style. It's more of a stencil-based style art that, for me not knowing the medium, seems like something I could create with a razor blade and then apply the stencil, which was my first thought, but I have never done it.
Yeah, right.
I think it would be logical to, oh, I'm sorry, if you want to go ahead. I was just thinking that I like the idea of the testing it and seeing, I mean, you're obviously the artist is going to develop a feel for what you're dealing with at the moment when you start doing it. And you do have the capability to paint over it and have a whole new palette to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I think I like that idea because I can somewhat understand the challenge with developing this whole thing. I don't know. Any suggestions are good.
Tasha, go ahead.
What's the wall made of?
Concrete.
Oh, so it is a concrete block, or is it just?
It looks like a flat, like what would be a basement wall, like that's what it appears to me.
It's a poured concrete
Yeah.
wall.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then, the interesting thing would be is that if there's a primer put on and then you paint over it, so you're getting used to like, how do I paint on this primer? The next layer that would cover up your first thing that you're experimenting with, you would almost want it to be like the primer, because otherwise you'd be dealing with a whole new medium in a way.
You would just prime it again.
You would just prime it
Yep,
again.
and you just start brand new.
Okay. So that's-
Are you just looking at appliance just to plain concrete?
Yeah.
You know, have you thought of reaching out to either Treeweather or Sternweiss? You know, at least in style construction, every time we pour concrete, we have waste. And what we do is we just build forms and we just fill it full. So we have a large number of these concrete blocks that we build because we're wasting, you know, you order an extra quarter yard of concrete or something like that. So we got oodles of these blocks in the backyard. If what you're looking to do is just, if all you're trying to do is figure out how can I apply this to concrete, what does it look like, what do I feel? I'd much, you stop down to Starbucks, we got a couple blocks in the backyard.
Yeah,
You just
yeah, absolutely.
Take it, at least then, my concern would be, you go out to the final one, let's just say you're doing some method, and that is there, and you don't like it, you know, and then you try to cover it up, and then you got another little primer on top of it, and you're like.
At least you know.
I also would agree with that. I would enjoy that better, just not being
Yeah, you're free to
publicly
do it.
watched. It's wherever
Yeah,
you
no
have
pressure
it as
then.
well, which is another issue. I've gone there and drawn on it with chalk, and it brings people to come look.
Oh.
And so it also makes it challenging to mentally
Yeah, I mean, I'll
focus
offer it
on
up,
it.
if you want to reach out to it, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
where we're at, stop.
I appreciate it.
Just swing it down, we got blocks like that in the yard, I mean, and I'm talking like blocks that are like, you know, feet by, you can stack them all up, and quite large, so you'd be able to practice around on them.
Mhm.
We just use them as dead weight, so.
Maybe you'll be hired to paint all their blocks next.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to us, you know where we are down in the south side of town, get swing down there.
Yeah, that'd be
We
great.
can connect.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Much better than practicing on that.
out in public, right. Okay.
Cool. Go ahead.
And I just want to say thanks for being willing to try something new, because public art is so cool, and it's just hard, you know.
Very.
It's, yeah, so thanks for going out of your comfort zone.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, awesome. Do you know anybody, any artists that do murals?
Lots.
Yeah,
But none of them are from here.
Have they given you
Legal.
suggestions and?
Yeah, like
Okay.
paint brands and tips and all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, tips through Vocal Online, you know.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben.
Yep.
Well, any other questions?
Card right here.
Good luck. I think, I can't wait to see it, you know, when the finished project is done. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've been holding off on putting all the other artwork up I have. I have like 25 4-foot by 4-foot ones in the office, but
Really?
I'm waiting to kind of integrate this all into one.
Sure.
Then we're also gonna put some lights on the wall. We have conduits in there
Yeah.
already and light it up. I think it'll be pretty cool looking when it's
Awesome.
all done. It's just.
All right, good. All right,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.
All right.
Ben's gonna give you some contact info.
Thank you.
So we'll hook you up, right?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Set you in the back.
Have a great day. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we'll see you. Thanks for coming down. We are on to item number 6, which is the ADRC request to move wheels on meals to the 2nd Street Community Center. This is presented by Justin Casperson.
Yeah, I'll introduce them and turn over to Mike once we get a chance to introduce it. So we do have the ADRC meal program here. It's a congregate meal program. It happens Monday through Friday daily. They serve meals right here in the Drendel room. People sign up for it. The meal's prepped by ADRC, brought here. It's plated and then served to the seniors, and then cleanup happens. We've been doing this probably for quite a few years, at least 7 or 8 years, probably around that time frame. It's been very successful. The only really issues we have is sometimes we have user groups that want to use the whole room, and then they're able to accommodate it by moving to either to a different room or do a meals to go type service. They're looking at closing down one of their sites locally and then moving it here. I'm not gonna speak too much about that because I want Mike to have the opportunity to talk about what the plans are and then what will kind of happen here when they transition and some of the components that will be impacted in the building. So I'm gonna turn it over to Mike from ADRC. Mike, if you want to introduce yourself and then kind of talk about where we're trying to go.
Yeah, thanks Justin. Thanks for allowing me to kind of speak to this. I'm Mike Brand, the Executive Director for the Aging Disability Resource Center. And as Justin indicated, we are unfortunately, honestly, having to close one of our sites, one of our meal sites within the Marshville community, currently at Cedar Rail apartment building. Just for a variety of reasons, mostly because of the impact of cost and inflation, and meal costs have gone up about 40% over the last 3 or 4 years. And so we do serve a 4-county region, so we're also looking at how we can strategically utilize our budget most effectively to serve the most good, the most people in the most effective way. So we've been really successful with the community center and people coming to the community center for the meals and that socialization component. And so the biggest transition to this site would be just moving our Meals on Wheels operation, or our packaging of our Meals on Wheels to this site from the Cedar Rail site. So what that entails is literally a caterer, which we have Norwood prepares our food, brings it in bulk, brings it to us, and then we package it in trays, like disposable, they're called Oliver trays, or disposable tray with a sealed film on the top, and then we send that out into the community for delivery into our Meals on Wheels program. So bringing equipment here to this site, and the equipment we would be purchasing and providing, so it's a freezer, it's a refrigerator, we have a steam table that we utilize to be able to package those meals. As Justin indicated, if something's needed for that big room, we can definitely accommodate that still. We still, get those meals out in the morning, and that would impact the customers that come here as well for in-person. We can get them to-go meals. So I really think it's going to be minimal impact for the actual move. Obviously, there's some customers impacted at the Cedar Rail apartment. In kind of our transition there, and actually I got to talk with Representative Rosar today in regards to that, because there are definitely some concerns, but we're having a transition plan with that, so we're not closing it immediately. We're looking at the end of September for the closure of that. That'd be kind of the same timeline for transitioning the Meals on Wheels over to here. And some of those individuals that are there would actually now qualify for Meals on Wheels, so we could deliver it to their door. Some of them hopefully will transition to coming here for their meal as well. We're looking at even some different transportation options. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at within transition to make this really successful. Good partnership. We've had a great partnership with the Parks Department, Justin, with the building. So I wanted to bring it to you guys for consideration and just to kind of discuss. And if you have questions, I'm always happy to answer those as well.
Sure. Questions from the committee? Go ahead, Natasha.
So Cedar Rail, you're moving it because of cost, so is it just like, are you renting their facilities, or what's the cost difference?
The cost difference is just the actual volume. Well, one, we do provide a little bit of a small component. Two, and I should say there's more components than just cost. So cost is one factor. The other factor is just the fact that our meals are really designed to be accessible to anyone in the community to be able to come into that meal and encourage. Cedar Rail is a locked apartment building, so it's really inaccessible to outside community members coming in. It's great for the people that live there, but really the program design is for all community to come in and have access to that meal, which is what is great here, because it is a great site where people come in and make it an event. They enjoy the collaboration, the socialization. So cost is one factor. The locked facility is another factor. Just looking at our strategic plan of how we can make sure that we're strategically in our 4 counties is another factor as well. So
is it cheaper to move here, or why is your cost going down by moving here?
Well, our cost would go down. That's kind of a double-edged question. It's not necessarily that it will be cheaper to move here. It will be less. We currently have a staff that we pay within the to do it as a site manager, so we're eliminating that position. So there is some cost reduction in regards to staff. There, you know, as far as the meal cost, that probably potentially even could go up, because if we have more people coming in, and, you know, if the community sees this as a more vibrant place to come, and that's not a bad thing, you know, for some of those costs to go up. But, you know, maintaining another site, maintaining a staff to be able to run that site, and then the challenges that we have in regards to the facility itself are all those factors in regards, and then just making sure we have placement within our region.
And you're in charge of the meals that are already here, is that correct?
We are.
So
yeah.
you're kind of consolidating?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think at this point, I would entertain a motion to go ahead and approve this move to this, and then we can discuss further. Okay, you got a motion by?
Sure.
Yeah, motion by Natasha. You get a second?
I'll second.
And Randy, a second. Okay, a motion, a second. I have a couple questions. First of all, I think this is a really, really good program. Obviously, I have a family member who is served by Meals on Wheels, and I've seen Meals on Wheels in this city for years and years, where it was based at the hospital, and you know, and I think it's a really, really good program, and it's needed. I have some questions. I just want to make sure. So maybe more so for staff. So Justin, how does this impact the operations of? I mean, it sounds minimal. How does it impact operations of the Second Street communities?
Our biggest impact will be just the pure logistics of their equipment needs and our ability to provide the space for their equipment needs.
Do you feel comfortable with?
Yeah, they also understand the limitations. They've been here since 2019.
Yeah.
So they know if your room is full, they can't put another freezer in it because there's nowhere to put the freezer. So they understand that we're going to have to be creative in whatever we do. There might be more challenges with their staff, meaning not all their freezers and refrigerators are in one room.
Yeah.
They might be in another room or an adjoining room or something like that, where they may have to move a little bit more to get it. So the burden will be more on their staff on not having like everything centralized. Also, the bigger challenge will be, most of the problems will be on them, because we have the public using the building. The public comes in and they see a refrigerator, they put their stuff in there, so they'll try to pull it or open it. And we have signage saying this is a locked freezer, refrigerator, not used for public, so don't try to break it open. Our biggest challenge will probably be from this perspective, parking and drivability. People coming and going with Meals on Wheels, and we don't have ideal parking and drivability logistics in front of that main area. But people will have to adjust. I'm not sure how we could even address that without major infrastructure costs, like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure it's worth it, other than people will have to just adjust and figure out how to do it. I don't think of any other really conflicts with the building. More people won't be really an issue. We get large groups coming in, whether it's for bingo or for different events that don't really impact our operations as a department. We anticipate more people coming to our counter and visiting us, but not necessarily directly having a huge surge of people coming on a daily basis. Amy, Amanda, and Nikki are here. You can kind of speak if I misspoke anywhere, if you think there'd be other issues. And in the Meals on Wheels, they're preparing them and then they're going out. The people aren't coming here, correct? It's not like every meal, like 50 meals, 50 people are coming. You have people who are dispersed.
Distributing it, yeah. So there's two really different programs. So the Meals on Wheels that's packaged and is sent out throughout the community, and then there's senior dining site where people come in for the meal, and that's and honestly, hopefully, will actually enhance the programs that are here as well. It's bringing people in to the community center to engage in other activities that are going on within this community. And honestly, the seniors of today look very different than the seniors of 10 to 15 years ago. They're more active, they're more engaged, they're looking for different ways and opportunities to stay connected to their communities, and we think this will just enhance that.
I agree. I think I like, outside of the Meals on Wheels, I like the meal that you're serving to seniors. I like that it's going to be centralized, and I agree, like that seems like a place where the residents would go and that's it. So I think you will see an increase in users issues
Yeah.
when it comes to that. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We have other questions, committee? Okay. Well, we have a motion and a second on the table to go ahead and approve the move to Meals on Wheels to Second Street Community Center. I think I would just add that obviously they would be working with staff on logistics.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out.
That's just implied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that we'll have to
Yeah.
figure out where they're gonna put their equipment in,
That's
how
right.
it fits with our stuff.
Justin has a little room in his office if he needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for coming down.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate the well-written request, too, that was really informative.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Justin. Talk soon.
All right, we're on to item 7, which is our Parks and Recreation Strategic Plan. This is presented by Justin.
This should go pretty quick because it is our 3rd month reviewing the strategic plan. We introduced it in May, took comments, feedback. We introduced those comments and feedback in June, and now July is the final approval process. I think I read through it probably in May exhaustively and talked about every item. Everything is, this is the final version you're seeing, not the edited version was last week. This is the final version. So what we're approving today will be the final version. And I would anticipate no questions, but obviously you can always have questions.
Okay, so so if we wanted to add something yet tonight, could we do that?
Oh, for
as an
sure.
approval? Okay, I want to talk about one thing and that's under trails. I wondered if we could put something in here about developing a safe route to school, mainly the high school. We've talked about that here in this committee, and Natasha's brought it up in the past, and maybe it would make sense to include it in the strategic plan. And then I would say, I would entertain a motion then, if nobody else has any other changes, to go ahead and approve it with that addition.
Just, I want to make sure we understand the Safe Route to School is a planning document done by Development Services for the whole community. So they did the bike and pedestrian plan, I'll call it. I think it was called plan. I think it was done in 2020. And Bryce Hembrook led that charge. So that would be the same department. So in our strategic plan, we'll advocate for it, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't fall like under
Understood.
So everyone understands
Yeah.
like how that
Yeah.
how that works.
Yeah.
So we would advocate for it in Development Services. And right now they don't have anyone, so they're still without full staff.
Understood.
So I'm hoping that real soon, knock on wood, they become fully staffed and we can try to implement something like that.
Sounds good. Is that okay? All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and let's get a motion on the table.
I'll make a motion with that addition.
Okay. Ben has a motion to approve of that addition. Second?
I'll second that.
Second by Randy. Okay, any other discussion, questions? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. We are moving right along. Reports. Item A, recreation. Amanda?
All right, we're still hiring for the senior coordinator. The first round of applicants didn't return any of my phone calls or reaching out, so we reposted it again with a new title and a little bit reorganized description. So same exact description, just in different order, kind of. So now we have several applicants, so I'll be starting to call them soon for interviews. I've been working with the Marshfield Senior Citizens Council on programs and marketing. The big upcoming thing is the Senior Health Fair, which is October 4th. I have this up along with the Committee on Aging and the MSCC. I've only done it once before, so this is round 2. 40 plus vendors typically attend. There's 2 sessions of 30-minute speakers. There's vaccinations, door prizes, and then this year we're working on a boxed lunch to provide. I'm not sure expense-wise if that will continue year after year, turn into more snacky type things, but we're gonna stick with lunch because that's historically what's been provided. Last year there were 218 people that attended. We just had the presentation on the ADRC meal site, so we still do that Monday through Friday here. Summer programming for youth and adults started in early June, and we're doing 3 sessions, so we're currently in the middle of the 2nd session. Historically, there's only been about 1 program. They can attend the same session. Like several offered at a time, but they've all staggered all summer, so I kind of reorganized it to where we actually added the same program over different times. We someone either attend one participation in that, so then move on to the next for session 2. Vanda Hay Waters, we have 38 lifeguards on staff, 22 attendants on staff. Weather has so far played a humongous role in how busy we've been. It's kind of sad to see how many people are there some days. But we are open most of the time. We really try hard to be. Obviously, if it's thundering and lightning, we do have to close, and that's always posted on Facebook. And we have a lot more closures this year already compared to last year, and we're only about halfway through. So just keep that in mind with the end of season report. We do have 36 shelter reservations. We don't call them birthday parties just because people reserve it for day camps or Girl Scouts or whatever, like tons of different options. Last year we only had 24 on the books, and the year prior, I didn't look up the exact number, but I think it was in the teens. So that shelter is getting busier. The mid-season report, or end of season report, is in the middle of the season. I have someone else working on that for me right now, so I haven't looked at it yet. And let's see, the health inspection is scheduled for tomorrow. Last week I recertified as a lifeguard myself. Upcoming for this fall, I'll have to recertify my lifeguard instructor certificate. I just want to reiterate that historically the rec manager has not typically taken that under her wing, so it's a humongous project for me to certify all the lifeguards, especially in the spring. So I'm trying to work it out where I recertify everyone before the pool closes at the end of summer. That way I get 2 more summers out of them. Hopefully that transition continues, but there'll probably be another year or 2 where I have to run a class or 2 in the spring. It just makes for a very hectic opening of the pool. And then the fall brochure, it's about ready to go to print, and it'll be ready hopefully early August, but probably looking more like mid-August. Trying to come up with options to run indoor programs, and there's just not a lot of space to do it at. So we're brainstorming, and I'm just trying to get with other organizations to see what I can put in the book to show people that there are options in Marshfield. One thing that we did add is another Pickleball 101 class. We're going to do it on either Sundays, or we're offering it on Sundays and Tuesdays. For now it's going to be free, but pre-registration is going to be required. That'll be at the Oak Avenue Community Center. That's all I got.
Questions? I've got 1 or 2. Okay. Who does the posts on social media when you close the pool?
We work together in the office to do it, so
Yeah.
Wendy physically makes the post.
Yeah, as whoever like comes up with like how you do that, the content of it, I think that's really well done.
Yeah.
You know,
She
they're
does a
usually
good job.
funny.
Yes,
So.
yeah, we try to make it
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
not a great
So nice
news
job with
share.
that. Yeah, yeah. And then I see the shelter reservations have gone like way up from when we first opened. Is that just because people are more aware? Have you done
I
something
kind of
differently?
think so.
Okay.
No, yeah, I just think they're,
Yeah, they see the
well, so
parties.
day camps, there's been a lot of day camps. I was gonna talk to the YMCA here about incorporating it into their programs too, because they kind of go all over Marshfield
Yeah.
too. But we have a group from Stevens Point coming like 5 or 6 times with the
Yeah.
group. So they do like a zoo tour, and then they eat lunch, and then they come to the pool. So they make like a whole day of it, yeah. So there's
Okay.
several of those, and then end of year parties for 4-H or Girl Scouts or whatever.
And one last question. Have you considered adding maybe some intermediate pickleball coaching, instruction type programs, maybe?
If I can find an instructor.
Well, I mean, not 101, but like 201. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good option. I don't have, so right now we do a yearly membership for access to Oak Ave, so they can play indoors if they're not playing outdoors. So I'm trying to find a way to lower costs for the city by offering a free membership for the next year for someone who teaches that pickleball
I see,
101. So
yeah.
it'd have to be someone who's available enough to
Yeah.
teach that class, unless I hire a pickleball expert, which would,
Well, I happen to know a group of about 50 people right here, and a lot of them are retired. But a lot of them are really good pickleball players, so
I've
I
asked
think
maybe a handful of
have you?
them and got no's from a lot, but
Okay.
I did find 2 people who are willing to kind of teach.
You talked to maybe Dave Jordan?
No?
Okay,
Okay.
I think he'd be really
Yeah, I
interested in
think so
something
too.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he was a tennis coach too, so he knows how to coach.
Yeah, I know Dave.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. All right, cool. Anybody else? Sorry. All right, events and programs, Nikki.
Okay, so we are halfway through the season, which is hard to believe. Hub City Concert Series. Here are some numbers that we have for the first shows in June. We did have to move to Oak Ave 2 weeks in a row. So attendance was down. I will say, as far as a rain location, with a little modifications here or there, Oak Ave is working out. It's just pretty echoey and loud, but we're doing things to help with that and coming up with ideas. So it's worked out, and hopefully we can get attendance up if we move inside. So far, weather looks great for the next 2 weeks, so knock on wood. And then Charlie Boy was a little bit down than what we've seen, but the parish poll was going on, and I think that had an effect on our attendance. But it was a beautiful night, great band. So the concert series as a whole is going really well. We have Wire Now, which is a country band this week, and then we finish off with Hub City Days event, and that is the Bird Pipe. So we're really excited about that. It's a national band that we've brought in, so hoping for good weather and great attendance. We've had 17 events held at the plaza in June and now month to date in July, and that includes our events along with rentals or community events that were held there privately. So you see that Wenzel Family Plaza really picks up with events. A lot of people use it for different reasons, which is great to see. And then looking forward, we do have Hub City Days starting next Thursday with Movie in the Plaza. This is partnering with Main Street Marshfield that utilizes the whole city and mostly the Wenzel Family Plaza, which is always a great partnership. I think it's perfect location for this being the heart of downtown. So we have the movie on the 25th, a bike cruise on the 26th, and then a shop and hop with that as well. The Hub City Concert Series, like I said, we do partner with them, and they will provide a bar that night, and that is a fundraiser for Main Street Marshfield. So that is different than every other night where it's carry in. And then Hub City Days on Saturday. So looking forward to that, and things will slow down a little bit on our end in the plaza, but we still have a lot of rentals and things happening in August, so it's going well.
Questions for Nikki? Go ahead.
Just a comment that I'm gonna be at the train for the bike thing, so if anyone wants to bike into downtown, you get an ice cream coupon.
For where? I'm guessing Hub City Creamery.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I just know that you get ice
That'd be a
cream.
good guess, though.
So, just like bring your family, go on a little bike ride, then you're gonna walk around downtown.
And I think there are bikes for raffle from the Marshfield Fire and Rescue. I saw a post on that today.
Nice.
2 bikes. And I think it's for the bike.
Yeah. And if people don't have a bike, you can rent a bike down at the train.
Yes, you can.
All right. Okay, cool. We are on to, let's see, events. Actually, we're on to Parks, Forestry and Zoo.
I'm gonna take this one for Ben. He is on vacation. For athletic fields, they are busy trying to get soccer fields up and ready for the fall soccer season. They're still doing baseball and softball. That's still going hot and heavy for another month, but they're getting ready for the soccer season. He lists a number of special events that have taken place in the community. The biggest ones are they hosted a number of baseball and softball tournaments, as well as the 4th of July event that took place last week, or a couple weeks ago. They had the movies in the park July 12th, and then the parish poll, which was last week Friday. So a number of events. They've been busy helping they bring picnic tables and garbage cans and barriers and everything else you can think of. Simplicity Credit Union did a work day at Wildwood Station and helped clean up the landscape beds. We've been busy with a lot of other things, and we hired a custodian for the building, and he lasted 2 days and quit. So it's been kind of a delayed process, and so we think we hired someone now, and they'll hopefully come back for 3 days. It's the record. But I do want to put a shout out to the previous custodian. He came back and filled in for the deficiency there for a little bit. He's still here, but he's such a great, wonderful individual. I can speak for our entire staff. We do not want to let him go. He's just an awesome human being. His name is Rick Dishinger, and if you get a chance, you'll run into him. Just say thanks for being such a great human being. Forestry, we had some storm cleanup a couple last month. He did injections for EAB on the ash trees. He's doing visits with homeowners, talking about the trees. He's busy weeding and mulching various landscape beds in preparation for Up City Days. Zoo, I think you guys are aware that we lost our bobcat after 17 years. Betts passed away last week. Pretty much cancerous to the liver. The liver was no longer pretty much functioning at all. So the best thing the veterinarian said was to euthanize him. So unfortunately, or him. So Lexi has passed. Or no, it was Betts. Sorry, Betts. But we do have some good news. We did get porcupines and skunks. They're quarantined right now, and they'll be on display very soon. That's all I think Ben has for skunks and porcupines. Okay. They won't spray, of course.
I have one thing. So there's a recycling container at Wenzel, and it's on the east side. So I noticed in the at the end of the concert last Friday that on the west side there was no recycling container, and the regular garbage was overflowing with recycling stuff. So is it possible, like maybe in the future, to get it to add one?
We ordered 8-10 recycling cans this year.
Okay.
And we put them at the various locations, softball fields, baseball fields, Brain Park, Wildwood Park. 8 doesn't go very far.
No, yeah. I
$500 a can doesn't go very far of your operation budget. Next year we have budgeted about $50,000 to add towards more recycling. And
I think it is just really a location thing. People don't want to walk to the other side of the plaza.
I mean, it's almost 75 feet.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
It's a haul.
You know, so
Especially for an empty
just a
can.
suggestion. Yeah, and I know, like, if you think about the future, we could use one more down there. You know,
Yeah.
Next, it's almost the end of the season now, but next year.
Yeah, we have it definitely on the radar. It's been on the radar. We budgeted $50,000 in preparation of trying to get that because it was brought up at this meeting a number of years ago. We put it in CIP.
Yeah.
It's just a process in which everything kind of flows slowly through.
Understood.
Yeah, it's on the radar. We did tackle like 8 of them this year. That's what our budget could afford.
Yeah, they look nice, and, you know, I mean, they're pretty obvious for recycling too. It's cool. Thanks. All right, anybody else? Go ahead.
Do we have any update on the Lincoln Avenue, no, the Adler Road Trail? Is it still August planned?
Yes, engineering is the one leading that project, and they're the ones kind of coordinating it and getting all of the process approved. They're understaffed, probably overbooked for work, so I'm just grateful it's on the radar and it's going to happen soon. So try not to look a gift horse in the mouth. If I say too much, then it might.
Last time I heard it was
place
early August, they would start.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
heard too.
Yep.
So I
I
was
don't
just
wanna
wondering
make
if there was
sure.
any update with
I
that.
don't know if there's any delays either.
Okay.
Cool. All right, on the cemetery. Amy?
Okay, we had 21 burials in June. A lot of summer stuff like marking out headstones for Marshfield Monument, the mowing operations are in full swing. The seasonal staff attended a safety orientation training on June 17th. We scheduled for a new columbarium to be delivered next week, July 23rd. And we're currently working on the budget for 2025.
Okay. Questions for Amy? Thank you, Amy. Justin, you're up next.
Brain Park pickleball project, they poured the center concrete apron with fencing, poles in, conduit's been laid, light pole bases are done, not the lights themselves, but the bases, so we can add lights in the future. Asphalt scheduled to happen, I want to think next week, if not the week after, so it's in July. I'm just not sure if it's this week or next week, but asphalt should be going. Once they have the final asphalt, I believe it's got to sit for 30 days and then they can paint. So that's kind of the process. So the curing or whatever it is before they can put paint on it. Goal is to have it open and operating in September. That's the goal. You got in a 30-day wait period just to sit there and wait and let the asphalt cure is kind of a long time, but that's the goal. Fairgrounds Expo building. The Fairgrounds Commission hired MSA to do a feasibility study. They did a presentation to the Wood County Board of Supervisors as well as the City Council. it's up to the Fairgrounds Commission as well as the fair to decide what our next steps. If they want to move forward with it, it's quite a large project, quite an expensive project. Most of it will be private donations. Maybe there's donors out in the community who want to give to that project or see it happen, or give some smaller amounts that they want to see happen. But the presentation did take place. MSA did a good job of coordinating that, walking us through it. They do have some more work left. They got to finish their campus master plan, and they hope to finish that this year. Wenzel restrooms. The council made a decision last week. I was not there. I was on vacation, but correct me, Natasha, I think you were there. The council made a decision to not move forward with the current plans and the bids from Bozen, but to essentially reject them. They formed a committee, I want to say a 7-8 person committee, to review other options and to explore things moving forward. Is that about right? I wasn't there and I didn't watch the meeting, so I haven't caught up with even my emails. But I think that's what is going on now with the project.
Yes, I think you're on the committee and I think Nikki's on the committee.
Congratulations.
I know I'm on the committee. I know there's a committee. I heard the names. I don't recall them. Steve Bard, the city administrator, is going to kind of coordinate things and get them moving. So until he finds some free time, I don't know where it is at this point. I don't think the restrooms will be built this year. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm anticipating with construction schedules and how quickly things shut down once November happens, it's very difficult to kind of move forward. But that's where the Wenzel restrooms are. Jurassic Park, the committee hasn't met in a while. We had a couple committee members actually moving at the same time, so that stalled it. So I just actually emailed them this week, saying, hey, where are we at? We'd like to get this off. I'd like to get it off my desk and at least find out what they're doing, what their plans are. So we still have a landscape architect, O2 Design, under contract to finish a proposal, and then take that proposal and present it to the public at some point. And then Strobel Park, we're working with Beaver Creek, believe it or not, former firefighter Jeff Barth owns Beaver Creek, to come up with some conceptual designs and improvements in the park. We've committed $35,000 from the city. We're asking $15,000 from them in private donations. We've applied for several grants, but we've received no grant funding to date. We'll continue to apply for grants, but there's not a ton of grant opportunities for that type of park. It's really small, very singular in scope. It's a memorial for firefighters. So the biggest advocates or the users or the people who might benefit the most would be firefighter unions or someone of that sort who might want to give to it. But development grants or economic development grants or WEAC grants or other community foundation that they did not give to the project. They didn't see it as a viable project. Plus they have a laundry list of other projects for consideration, so it just didn't meet the others. But we hope to finalize the repairs and rehabilitation of that park this year. That's the goal. It won't be at the scale we once hoped because we budgeted $100,000. Right now we're hoping to get $50,000. And that's all I have.
Yes, go ahead.
So I mentioned this before for Stroman Park and just open mind, but I do wonder if there was collaboration with what Haley came and talked about, like the outdoor exercise equipment. If somehow that could be incorporated into a firefighter memorial, I just think there would be more synergy for fundraising, and I think people would use the park more.
I can introduce the idea to the two groups. One's Main Street and Marcia Bushman, who's doing that, and another one is the Stroman family, which is like Lisa Schultz and Ann Daringer. So they would have to kind of get together. I'm not going to force that relationship because they may not agree on things. I don't know what they each vision. Obviously, one's an exercise equipment at Veterans Park. One is a firefighter memorial park there. So it would be them to be willing and open. And both are actually very limited by budgets. So one has like a budget of $200,000 for the fitness equipment, which they haven't been successful on securing enough dollars to move forward with it. And then obviously the other one is still short on finding dollars to renovate Stroman Park. So you have essentially two groups that maybe can fit. But I can present that to them and see if they have any interest in it.
Any other? I just want to make a comment about the bathrooms, because I've heard like several times now watching council meetings, maybe more than one alderperson bring up the fact that adding a couple bathrooms, you know, and they're frustrated that they're still gonna need porta potties for events. And I just want to say that I don't think the intent of the Winslow restrooms was ever to replace porta potties at events, because there are never gonna be enough bathrooms for these events. I mean, the larger events, and those events are, I believe those are funded by the event. So I think these were meant to be, you know, ongoing, daily, everyday operational bathrooms. So I just want to clear that up.
If you guys remember, you did approve, it was a long time ago.
We did.
You approved the concept to have two flushable year-round restrooms with that idea that they'd be functional year-round, they'd be sustainable for majority of activities, but the original design was to have one men's, one women's restroom attached to the stage. For whatever reason, that was nixed and it never went to fruition.
Yep.
That group that did that plaza decided we should put some provisions on the north side. They stubbed an electrical, or something water and sewer on the north side to put a men's and women's bathroom somewhere on the north side. So, John, it was never really considered to be like, I don't know what the number is, 5, 6, 7 bathrooms.
I think that's right. And you know, I mean, it doesn't matter what event I go to in what city and what park. There's never going to be enough bathrooms for that event. I was at Riverfront Rendezvous in Stevens Point, and they have bathrooms that have 20 stalls in them, and they still have porta potties. You know, so it's going to be something that's always going to be needed for larger events, and that's not what this was for.
Yeah.
I mean, consternation about where it's located, that's a whole other thing. Consternation about, but the number, we just never considered that to be something that would accommodate that type of event. That's all.
Most events are rather large, so.
Yeah.
But like, take the Hub City Days, we have the car show. They
Right.
have porta-johns spread throughout Central Avenue, on a side street, kind
Sure.
of tucked away, but they're throughout that entire central area.
Yep.
Other events have restrooms strategically placed in general areas where most people will be, not necessarily one just specific area because they're so large. So we're hoping that this committee can come to a good resolution and present it to the council to move forward, and the council can accept it. I don't know what the end result will be, but I'll definitely support whatever direction comes out of it.
Okay, thanks. All right, seeing nothing else, let's see. Oh, the next meeting actually is 5:30, Wednesday, August 14th. So that's in 3 weeks, right? So let us know if you can't make it ahead of time, appreciate it. And at this point, seeing nothing else on the agenda, we are adjourned. Thank you.
I won't be here, 14.
Okay.
We'll plan on doing a tour in September.
Oh, that would be cool.
Okay.
We haven't done one of those in a while.
Well, the COVID kind of stopped it, and we never made